Hello friends, today we'll be starting with the first ever topic of software engineering, that is introduction to software engineering. So in this we'll be going through the preface. I would like to discuss first. The things which we are going to discuss is, first of all, we'll be discussing what is engineering, then what is software, then combinedly what is software engineering, then we'll be discussing what is software process, then different type of process models, and then different models with their strength and weakness. And this comprise the whole introduction about the while discussing all those things, you will be aware about what exactly is software engineering. So first of all, we need to discuss about engineering. So what does this engineering means? So engineering, different person can have different perspective to define engineering. So software engineering is actually the application of scientific and the practical knowledge. It is application of scientific and practical knowledge in order to actually, this is what application of scientific and practical knowledge in order to design, build and improve system and processes, etc. In order to design, build, maintain, also you can say maintain and improve systems, processes, etc. So basically engineering is nothing but a application of scientific practical knowledge in order to design, build, maintain any particular system or process and so on. Fine. So hope you came to know what is engineering as a whole. It's an application of scientific knowledge or the practical knowledge in order to either invent or design or build or maintain any particular system or process and so on. Now, what is software? We'll be taking care of what is another part, because this software engineering is made up of two different words. This is a combination of two words, software as well as engineering. So engineering, we already have seen what exactly is engineering. So now we'll be seeing what is software. Software is a collection of integrated programs. So here already I have written, you can see from what is software. It is actually, by definition, if we'll go, then it is actually collection. It's a group. It's a collection of different integrated programs. But it is not just the computer programs which is a software, also the associated documentation. All the computer programs that we write plus the document which is related to those programs. Because see, whenever you got some hardware product at your home, we are talking about the softwares. Software is what that we use on a daily basis, which are not we all understand what is the difference between hardware and the software. Hardware is the thing which is physically available, that we can touch, feel. Software is the thing which is not touchable, but yes, of course, they are also a product. Software products are many software products on a daily basis we are using. Let's say if you are using a WhatsApp, that is also a kind of application, software application you are using, but that is not touchable. Yes, but you are using it. So that is actually framed out of the computer program as well as the documentation. Likewise, in a hardware, suppose you are purchasing a microwave oven for your home, that is a hardware product. So with that hardware product, you are getting some documentation also, that is called as the user manual, user guide, so that you will be able to know that how to operate that microwave, at what temperature it need to be maintained, at what how to set its temperature, how to use its buttons, different buttons, how to open its door, how to close its door. So these are the things which is there in the documentation user manual part. If it will not be there, if you will not be provided with such documentation, then what will happen? You will not be able to, suppose you really don't know how to use that microwave oven, you will not be able to do it. that's why the hardware product is also coming with some documentation, which is also called as user manual or the user guide. Fine. Similarly, our computer softwares are also not just the program, it's a complete, when we are using a software, so we are not just using a computer program, we are using program as well as the associated documentation with it, the computer programs and the documentation with it. So we can call it as, so now we can say that the software components can be clearly classified from here, that your complete software is made up of programs, then the documentation, and there is one more thing which is very important to understand, that is operating procedure. As I told you, in the documentation you will be given, suppose, user manual, let's say, in the documentation, but here in software, please mind it that this is a software, this has to maintain the different design documentation, different implementation documentation, so that the another programmer or the, let's say, someone who are a technical person can understand that programming, can read that documentation and can get the knowledge about the particular software. Now this is completely for the technical users, those who understand the technicality behind the software, and this operating procedure will completely tell how exactly the software is working. So here in the case of software, we can say the user manual and the user guide are nothing but the operating procedure documents that we are going to get. So how to actually run that particular software will be defined in this operating procedure. So as a whole, the software components are programs, the associated documents, and the operating procedure. Fine. Now we all know that the computer programs and the associated documentation, such as the as I told you, this can be your design document, this can be your requirement document. Fine. The user manuals and the user guides, all together, this all forms a documentation which is required in order to understand a software, also in order to run the particular software. Now focusing again, going back, and our topic was combinedly what is software engineering. So basically we have divided complete software engineering into two parts, engineering and the software. We have seen engineering is the application of any scientific or the practical knowledge in order to design, build, maintain, run particular system, process, etc. Similarly, software is a computer program along with the associated documentation and the operating procedure. Now when we are combining these two things, software plus engineering, this become your software engineering. So software engineering is an engineering discipline that is concerned with all aspects of the software production. Means we are talking about engineering. What we are doing? We are applying engineering on a software. So it is nothing but a engineering discipline. It is one of the engineering discipline that is concerned with all the aspect of the software production. Suppose when we are developing the software, what sort of the things that we are doing, every production, every rules, every sort of things that we are actually using, we are actually going through all the production rules, all the development process, implement everything related with the software while developing a software. Each and everything which is being monitored under a procedure that is called as your engineering of software. Fine. So according to IEEE has, we all know that IEEE is a international body, organization that actually gives standardizations, fine, definitions for the different you can say the different disciplines which are there under even engineering and many other domains. So it's a electrical and engineering association that gives a definitions regarding a particular domain that we are going through, which are all certified domains, you can say, are actually being given a definition by IEEE. So as per IEEE's definition, software engineering can be defined as application of systematic. So I'll be writing here the definition. According to IEEE, software engineering can be defined as application of systematic, disciplined, quantifiable approach to the development operation and maintenance of software. So as per IEEE, definition of IEEE is software engineering is application of systematic, disciplined, quantifiable approach to the development and operation and maintenance of a software. Now, what is software process? The another thing is you might be listening about this term also when you are studying software engineering. What is software process? Because when we are saying the process by which we are actually developing a software, that comes under software engineering, then what is software process? So software process is nothing but, first of all, understand that this is a framework. This is a framework that describes the activities performed at each stage of the software development project. It is a framework that describe activities performed at each stage of software development process. Fine. Software engineering is actually an application of the systematic development of the software, and software process is actually a framework that framework which define all the activities related with the which are being done, all the activities which are being taken out or carried out in order at each stage in order to develop a particular software. Fine. So generic activities in software processes are, suppose, specification. The generic activities are specification, these are the generic activities, software process activities. Then what we do next, development, specification, development, then validation, and then evolution. So these are some generic software processes activities. In a specification, what we are doing, a specification says that what the system should do and its development constraint. Specification, we call it that what is the specification of particular software. It means it will tell, the specification will tell that what the system should do and its development constraints. Development is nothing but production of the software system. Development, we understand, it is the actual production of the software system. Validation is checking that the software is what the customer wants. Validation is all about checking that whether it is a software, the software that we have developed, is it the actual software that the customer wanted. So validation. Evolution is changing the software in response to changing the demand. So evolution, we call sometimes we used to say that this is first evolution of the software, this is second evolution of the software. It means every time when we change our software in order to meet the demand of the customer, so that is called as evolution. So these are some process and the activities that are carried out while developing a particular software. Fine. So today this is all about the topic that we are trying to understand what is software engineering. So in a nutshell, we can say that software engineering is a combination of two words which comprise of software as well as engineering, in which software is nothing but a computer program plus the documentation of the program and the operational procedure. These are the components of the software. Fine. And engineering is a application of scientific or the practical knowledge. It's an application of knowledge, whether it is scientific knowledge or a practical knowledge, in order to design, build, maintain the particular system of the process. Fine. So we are using software engineering. We are actually, what we are doing, we are scientifically or practically applying the knowledge in order to design or develop a system that is called as a software. So this is all about your software engineering. IEEE has given the definition of the software engineering, that it is software engineering an application of systematic, disciplined, quantifiable approach. So it is systematic also, because each and every phases need to be followed one after another. They all are sequential. That's why it is called a systematic. Discipline, yes, of course, all the strictly those stages are the sequence is going to be considered, because if you will skip any of the stages, because while developing a software, various stages are there. I'll cover that in the next coming topics. So you will come to know that all the stages need to be covered one after another. So disciplined and quantifiable is like each and every stage is known for something. They are quantitatively, like we are capable enough to quantify. Like, see, if we are saying that software can be developed in 3 stages, then only those 3 stages can be applied in any type of the software. That's why we call it a quantifiable. 3 stages, then 3 stages, quantifiable. So it is application of these processes to develop or maintain, for developing the operation and the maintenance of the software. So this is the definition given by IEEE. So we are discuss about what is software process. So in that we have seen software process is nothing but a framework of the activities that perform at each stage of the software development process. And under that, in the software process, some generic activities which are there, that is specification. Specification will let you know what system is should do. Development, the production process. Validation will check whether it is a actual software or not. Evolution, every change in the software is called as evolution. So these are some processes which can be considered as the software process. These all are the activities that we are doing while developing the software. So that's why this is called as the software processes. So that's all, guys. Please like my channel, do subscribe, press the bell icon, so that this will actually help me to understand that you are actually liking my video lectures. So it will motivate me to upload some new topics related with the software engineering. So for today we have done with the introduction part of the software engineering, and tomorrow again the next topic we will be discussing, that is the process models. These are the processes. So based on this, the process model which the software engineering follows, that we'll be discussing in the next lecture. Thank you.